everyone, I'm Keely Cooper. We've come here today to talk about Cultural Perspective in the Lottery by Shirley Jackson. Let's start off with, what is culture? What exactly does it mean? Culture is defined as the way of life, especially the general customs and beliefs of a particular group of people at a particular time. The culture we're looking at is a culture of a small town, less than 400 people, that Shirley Jackson depicts in her short story called The Lottery. What happens when culture desensitizes an entire town to the brutal act of murder? In this small town of The Lottery, they do this annual ritual of all the male heads of families draw a piece of paper, and the one who gets the black dot on their paper, their families have to undergo another drawing, and the member of the family who gets the black paper gets stoned to death. The story opens up with children being gathered in a square after school. The boys are running around collecting stones. You don't realize what the stones are for yet, but they do have stones and are getting more. Murder is so rationalized in their culture that these children find joy and even want to properly prepare for stoning a person to death. Not even a stranger, a town person they knew their entire life. Their established customs tell these children that they should take pride and joy in the death of one of their fellow townspeople. This lottery is a nationwide thing for the country that we're set in. And in some other towns, they were thinking of abolishing the lottery. And others had already abolished it and had been stopping it for years on end. This idea of stopping the lottery was met by the older generation completely refuting, refusing, and criticizing the idea of stopping the lottery. One character, his name's Old Man Warner, says that stopping the lottery is regressing. He even goes so far as to say, listening to young folks, nothing's good enough for them.
Next thing you know, they'll be wanting to be living in the caves, nobody work anymore, live that way for a while. He compares stopping a murderous ritual to converting back to caveman times. Murder is so desensitized in this town that they believe that the only way to have a fruitful year is by savagely killing somebody by stoning them. It's evident when Old Man Warner says this.
Used to be a saying about lottery in June, corn be heavy soon. First thing you know, we'd all be eating stewed chickweed and acorns. There's always been a lottery. The lottery not only calls for murder, it calls for the stoning of an innocent victim. The entire town plays a role in the murder of one of their friends, family members, or closest allies. The murder isn't that of an execution. They don't get the lethal injection
or death by gunfire. They get their skulls caved in by rocks thrown at you from the closest people you've ever had in your life. Just how utterly ravenous this murder is places just how much of a hold culture has on this town. In any other sense, if somebody took a rock to your husband's head, you yourself would try to kill them. Or if you didn't try to kill them, you would at the very least expect some kind of justice, something to come from this murder of someone you loved. But I would guarantee you that if you went to somebody and you talked to from the town and asked them about this, they probably wouldn't even consider this a murder. They probably wouldn't even consider it killing somebody. They would probably call it a sacrifice so that they can live and prosper, because their culture has obscured the lens of reality for this town. They're living in a world that is so similar to our own, yet so different. To conclude our video, Shirley Jackson uses several means to identify the fact that the entire town is essentially numb to the bone-chilling effects of murder. It goes from children gathering stones in order to bludgeon a member of their community to the murder actually being one of stoning and not of anything that would be considered humane. It is strange and beautiful how Shirley Jackson depicts this in her writing from The Lottery. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day. This has been Cultural Perspective in Shirley Jackson's The Lottery with Kaylee Cooper.